All right, good evening. I'm going to be putting my share screen on and I'm going to share tonight's agenda. So the date is March 23rd, 2023. It's 6:39 p.m. and it is Kwantlen First Nations regular Kwantlen Band Council meeting. We were scheduled to start at 6:30 p.m., but it is now 6:39 p.m. We are doing this via Zoom format. This meeting is being recorded. Chairperson is Council Member Brandon Gabriel, that's me. Council present this evening is Council Member Victor Back and Council Member Christopher Thomas. And presently there are no band members who are in attendance, but if that changes throughout the meeting, I will adjust that portion of the agenda. And so we have a number of topics to discuss this evening. And so the first item on our agenda is item 1, confirmation of election officer. I got to put of, I'm just going to correct that. Confirmation of election officer for our official governance referendum, which we decided was going to be opened on May 16th, 2023, which means we are about just a little under 60 days from now until that time. And so we do have this item was requested from staff member from the Kwantlen spokesperson, Robert Jago. And he is asking what our budget is for this. And presently, I myself have not had time to put together any budget items for this. So we will be reusing Election Buddy, which was the online vote tabulator, which we have a subscription for, which we've already paid for. And we will be using that again for the upcoming referendum. And we will also do in-person ballots as well. And we have a third party that will be collecting and distributing those ballots. And we will need to pay this third party so that once that party gives us a budget of how much this will cost, we will then have as council, we will meet to discuss the cost of that and the way that we're going to pay for it. And we anticipate about 40 hours of work in total to do this. And so, the question that I have to council is a confirmation of this. So the question I ask is, can we confirm that the election officer that we will be using for the upcoming governance referendum in May to reuse Election Buddy as our means to deliver this, and also to review a budget once it comes to us from the party that's going to be collecting and distributing ballots. Do you, Christopher Thomas, do you agree to the question that I've asked?
Yeah, I agree.
Great, yep. Thank you. Confirmation, thank you. Councillor Victor Back, do you agree to the questions that I presented?
Yeah, I got no problem with the Election Buddy.
Okay, and I also agree. So that's council votes unanimously in favor of this request. All right.
Got a word though.
Okay. Okay, so item 2 on the agenda is to schedule an elder information session. And so the request also coming from staff, please give us 3 potential days and times for the elder information session so they can review the governance code and contrast it with the existing system of governance. They will also learn about the upcoming votes and be able to ask questions. Doctors Lee and Coburn will attend this event, which is why we need 3 potential days. And I think it's important that we for this personally as a commenter to this question, I think it's important for us to give enough lead time to elders so that they can reply to this. Let me look at my calendar. So today is March 23rd, April, May. So I'm thinking that a good time for the elders to have an information session likely would be at least a month prior to the referendum. So I'm thinking let's see, the week of the 17th to the 23rd of April in that time span would probably be sufficient, I think. And I'm wondering if I can get feedback from Christopher and Victor to see if you agree that we can piece together some possible dates during that time period. So my availabilities are kind of tricky. So I would be available in person in the afternoons and evenings on April 19th, 20th, and the 21st. But I wouldn't be available on the 17th and 18th in person. I could only do Zoom.
I think Zoom is great for an emergency meeting or something, but it should never all be in person, most of it, as much as possible.
Agree. I agree.
You lose a lot of the feelings by Zoom, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it's imperative that we try and schedule an in-person meeting, and I also think it should be done in the daytime as well. Like maybe after lunch or during lunch from, I don't know, between 12 and 2 p.m. or something.
And you have to pick a day when there's going to be people around too, right?
Yeah.
That's the tricky part. Well, most of the elders are not working, but
Right.
you got to entice them with coffee and donuts and something to eat, maybe, right?
Yeah, and possibly. I mean, my wish would be that we were way past the point of the current state that we're in right now with this transition, that we would have budgets to be able to accommodate, to cover honoraria and coffee and snacks and those sorts of things so that elders could attend. I think that's a challenge, but I think in the meantime, I think you're right. They need to be in person. And I think maybe as an in-kind gesture, I could provide like from my own personal like a personal contribution so that I could help with coffee and juice and snacks and those sort of things. And of course, like a venue is also important in that regard too. And so I think, like if we maybe narrowed a couple days down, let's say we just narrow it down to, oh. So we have another member who joined the meeting. So welcome. We're just discussing item two on our agenda this evening, which is to schedule an elder information session regarding the upcoming governance referendum, which will be held in mid-May. And so we're hoping to schedule an elders info session, and I think we can narrow it down to.
I think you also should call it a community session instead of an elder session too, right?
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, I can add that into the discussion.
Because the elders here don't communicate what happens to the elders meetings. Nobody knows other than the people that were there. They don't talk about it to nobody, right? So
Yeah.
we got to get more than just elders.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's a good suggestion. I think before we put any notices out, we can make a decision on how that wording is going to look. But what do we think? Like, so I did suggest April 19th, 20th, and 21st as 3 possible days to meet. We could host the in-person portion of it. And then we could chime Dr. Coburn and Dr. Lee into the session, who are going to be joining us remotely from Ottawa. So it would have to be at I think a good medium time, because they're 3 hours ahead of us. We got to take that into consideration. So I think, so my best times on April 19th would be between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. And then on the 20th and 21st of April, I would be available all day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And so maybe I'd just like to check with you two to see if any of those 3 dates might work for you, possibly in the daytime. And if not, then we can also look at scheduling an evening, try to schedule an evening meeting. Also, just taking into consideration that our guests are going to be in Ottawa when we do that.
I don't have personally, I don't have an issue, except I just had a whole bunch of tests for what do you call it, cancer, and I don't know what the doctors are going to be shoving at me. That's going to be an unknown for until April 5th or something is when it's supposed to start, right? So, so I don't know. I can't. I would like to think that I'd be able to do it, but I don't know. It depends on the results of the tests, and I won't know until the first meeting.
Right. What about you, Christopher? Like, what are your availabilities like these days? Because I know you've had quite a busy schedule, and I'm wondering if daytime meetings are hard for you.
Well, like what Vic said, I think daytimes are probably the best, and
Yeah.
I'll just make time for those days, Brandon.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, if I were to like look at our schedule, it's kind of in the middle between here and May.
Yeah.
And there's enough time for, even for me, if I need to change my schedule, there's enough time for me to make those changes to accommodate. I think it's about time we spent some time in person as a group, but also
Talking
to
to people as a group too, right?
talk to the people, and I think that's really important. Okay, so how about I'll just put these 3 possible dates down then.
Yep.
So 3 possible dates. April
19, 20, and 21.
Okay, April 19, between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. Pacific. April 20th, between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Pacific. And April 21.
And it's technically it's daylight savings time too now, so.
Right. Hybrid, in person, and Zoom formats. All right. Okay, I think we can just work with that for now then, for those possible days. Well, and not surprisingly, we're moving into like item 3, which is sort of a broader community information session. And so we're looking at, wait a minute, I might have had those mixed up. Nope, I have not. Okay. So 3 potential days and times for the community information session, so they can review the governance code and contrast it with the existing system of governance. They will also learn about the upcoming vote and be able to ask questions. Drs. Lee and Coburn will attend this event, which is why we need 3 potential days. And so I think what would probably be a good option there would be the following week, which is the week of April 24th to the 28th. I don't actually have anything on my schedule for that whole week, which is strange. I usually have something going like all the time. Then after that, we're getting into May, and I think what I worry about possible days in May is that it gets too close to the actual day, the day of we open up the referendum. So I'm going to suggest that we look at April 24th to the 28th. Same situation. The 26th, I would be available in the afternoon. And then the 27th and the 28th, I'm available all day, both days.
Okay, you'll just have to give me the dates and then I'll just have to step out of the office.
Okay.
A while, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll just make it work, Brandon.
Okay. Yeah, same here. I'll make it work. So 26, 27.
Then we just got to figure out location for these meetings too.
Yeah, and so, there's a couple things with that are going to be tricky because in the beginning of all this, we seem to have a fairly decent rapport with Tony D, who is managing the cultural center. And I've not been able to have any discussions with him personally regarding any of his concerns. And so so my hope is that we could look at the cultural center as like a plan A. That would be my preference, and I'm hoping there wouldn't be a problem with that. But then, of course, if that is an issue, I think we need to look at maybe looking at other alternatives like maybe booking the Lions Hall in Fort Langley, or looking at booking.
We get really aggressive and go have it right in the health center right beside Marilyn's office.
Oh, we could do that too. I mean, because in my mind, we should be, they are our buildings. It's the nation's buildings, not theirs. And we are inviting respected elders in the community to assemble, and so that we can be open and transparent and provide information to them. And it's done in good faith as far as I'm concerned, and it's done in a healthy and open way. And so I think stuff like this we shouldn't have to worry about accommodating because somebody has personal beef, or they have something going on in the background that we're not even aware of, that might hinder our ability to assemble in the community. And so I think you're right, Victor. And I think we should look at both the health center and our cultural center as possible venues to assemble.
There's usually lots of things happening at the health center, so we got to look for conflict there, right?
Yeah.
So,
and then of course there's the downstairs of the band office as well.
Yeah.
The old band office. And so shall I put it we will look at the Kwantlen Health Center, Kwantlen Cultural Center, and KFN Administration Building as possible venues to hold our open community forums.
I was at the Kwantlen building twice 2 days ago, and there was nobody. The doors were open, but there was nobody there. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah.
I walked through the whole building and then hollered, hey, no answer.
Okay, well, we put it in writing and we put it out there, and we'll see how it comes back to us. And my hope is that it's a positive, that we have positive responses back. And
Yeah.
so
Cassandra is in charge of the health building, right?
Yes.
Everything is technically supposed to happen through her, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know if how she was in favor, but I don't know if she still is or not with what's going on now, right?
Last I heard, she has taken health leave, and that she is not performing duties right now.
Yeah, so that's her go-to performance, right? Something gets stressful, she goes.
Yeah.
But that's her. That's okay. It doesn't mean she's a bad person or anything, but doesn't like conflict.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 3 possible venues and 3 possible dates that we are suggesting for these items.
Yeah, because if we went to the health building or the band office,
Yeah.
there's free coffee there anyway. You just make it, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I think we got those items covered off, and I think I look forward to posting this video and the comments around it, so that band members can view it, and people can have discussions amongst themselves about how they feel about it, and that they also see how we're modeling the way in which our leadership is, how we function, and how we carry ourselves in these types of meetings. So thank you both for your feedback. And so we have a 4th item on the agenda, which is so you might recall back in December, we had a council meeting with Kwantlen First Nation, where we put it out there to them to ask if they would be interested in working with our council to host the first salmon ceremony in New Westminster as a joint effort. And Kwantlen First Nation chief and council agreed to work with our council. And so our staff has put in a request. So he's asking that Octopus Spirit, which is my company, to operate this ceremony on behalf of the band council. And so I can speak a little bit to the reason why. So my inkling is simply because my company would be able to cover like the base operating cost for hosting that event. So say we were tasked with presenting blankets to Kwantlen Chief and Council and the mayor of New Westminster, or school board members, or anything of that nature, that our company would be able to cover the cost until a reimbursement could be provided to us down the road. That way it doesn't become a hardship on our group, our council, on like from a personal perspective, and it's easy for me to cover such things, and I would likely be able to cover up to $1,000 just to cover the base cost for holding a ceremony like that. And so that's the reason why Robert has asked. And so I guess my question to council would be, would this council be okay if my company, Octopus Spirit, was able to provide logistical like organizing of the event on behalf of Kwantlen First Nation Band Council?
Yeah,
Christopher?
Yeah, by all means, bro.
Okay.
Got the means and you can do it, and you're
Okay.
able to. Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. All right. Victor, you agree too?
Yeah, I got no issues with that.
Okay. All right. So I agree as well. Okay, so that's item 4. So item 5, also in the city of New Westminster. So this council has been very successful in its moving forward with establishing a rapport with the city of New Westminster. And so the city of New Westminster runs the Fraser River Discovery Center, which is at New Westminster Quay. And they would like to connect with several Kwantlen knowledge keepers for interviews for a project about the river. And they want to see if our council approves of this and if we can also submit names to them. And so, Christopher, do you approve of this request?
Yep. Let's do
Okay.
it.
All right. And Victor?
Yeah, that sounds okay to me.
Okay. And so maybe I agree to it as well. And I think we could put some names forward. Like right off the bat, I can think of several people. First person comes to mind for me is Fern Gabriel for language. I also thought about Karen Gabriel for her knowledge of plants.
And cooking.
Um, Geez, who else?
Well, you could put me down for culture and language,
Yeah,
and maybe a little bit of Stala.
okay.
Stuff, yeah. What about yourself, Brandon?
Yeah, I'd put my name down um for art and history. Um, who else? Is Helen Carr still active? Is she still um
She's
doing work in school districts?
no, she's given up working in the school district. She's not well most of the time.
She's retired, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Carla's
okay.
taking over most of the stuff.
All right. I'm gonna put oops. I'm gonna put Robert Thomas's name down. For culture and language as well. Oh, Dennis Leon.
He might not be available. He's got a different job now.
Oh yeah, he's working for Surrey Schools, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he probably would come if he's not busy already.
Yeah,
Should we put his name there anyways?
yeah. Yeah, I'll just put his name down anyways. I was gonna put Chelsea Waterbeek's name down for culinary arts. Let's see. I think that's all I can think of right now, but I think that's a good start. And so right off the bat, I think council is able to provide them with a list of names that'll be to help them get started, I think. And so I will put council votes unanimously. Okay. Okay, so seeing as there's one community member that's present for tonight's meeting, and I'm not sure if that community member would like to has any questions for us regarding tonight's agenda. And if you do have any questions, we do welcome your feedback. Just one note, sorry. Our current legal matter with Marilyn and her group will not be discussed at this table okay, no questions. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so I'm going to we'll adjourn this portion of the meeting. And it's 7:15 p.m. And so this portion of the meeting is adjourned. So I'm going to be turning off the camera now. I mean, not the camera, I'm going to be turning off the recording. And so I'll be submitting this document to staff member Robert Jago. I'm would like it if the participants who are in this room could stay back for an informal discussion, not related to this meeting agenda, and we'll close out the night. So I'm gonna stop my screen share. And